In a quiet town called Umoko, there lived a stunningly beautiful girl named Chioma. Everyone in the village admired her. Men from far and wide came to seek her hand in marriage. No one could deny her charm. Her glowing skin, radiant smile, and kind eyes made her the talk of the town. But despite the countless proposals, Chioma couldn't bring herself to say yes to anyone. Instead, she would spend time with them only to send them away afterward. It wasn't that she didn't want love. Chioma carried a deep secret, one she couldn't share with anyone except her two closest friends, USO and Ken. She trusted them completely and confided in them about her struggles. Chioma had something inside her, a restlessness she couldn't escape. She couldn't go a day without being with a man. It wasn't just one man. Sometimes it was as many as 10 in a single day. It wasn't because she wanted to, it was because she felt she had to. There was a fire inside her that she couldn't control. Since she was 15, Chioma had experienced a strange burning sensation in her body that left her restless. She began seeking out men to calm the fire, but no matter what she did, the feeling never went away. By the time she turned 25, the problem had worsened. She had lost count of how many times she'd sought help, but no one could provide a solution. Chioma had been with almost every man in her town because of the unbearable fire inside her. She was deeply ashamed. She even paid men to be with her, hoping to ease the burning, but nothing worked. Every night she cried herself to sleep, wondering why she was cursed with this terrible secret. Her parents had no idea what their beautiful daughter was going through. They often pressured her to get married, saying, "Chioma, you're so beautiful. Why not settle down with a good man?" But Chioma couldn't tell them the truth. How could she explain that one man would never be enough for her? How could she marry when she needed many men every day? So she kept her secret, telling her parents she wasn't ready for marriage, even though the real reason was far darker. One day, as she was leaving a small cafe, Chioma bumped into a young man named Chima. He was kind and gentle, and for the first time in her life, Chioma felt something different. Her heart raced and her cheeks flushed. Chima smiled and asked, "Are you okay?" Chioma nodded quickly, unable to speak. When Chima offered her a ride home, she agreed without hesitation. That night, after their chance meeting, Chioma couldn't stop thinking about him. For the first time, she felt something new, hope. Maybe, just maybe, Chima could be different. As days passed, Chioma and Chima grew closer. They spent more time together, and eventually, Chima confessed his love for her. Chioma was overjoyed. For the first time, she believed she could have a normal life. Maybe this love would extinguish the fire inside her. But it didn't. Even though she loved Chima deeply, the burning desire didn't stop. She tried to hide it, but she found herself sneaking away to meet other men daily. She hated herself for it, but couldn't resist the pull. The guilt consumed her. Every time she was with Chima, she felt like she was lying to him. One evening, Chima surprised Chioma with a proposal. He got down on one knee and asked, "Will you marry me?" Overwhelmed, Chioma said yes. She couldn't wait to share the news with her best friends, USO and Ken. The next day, the three friends met at their usual spot. Chioma proudly showed off her engagement ring, her smile wide and bright. USO and Ken cheered for her, hugging her tightly and celebrating her big moment. They laughed and imagined the beautiful life Chioma was about to have with Chima. But deep inside, Ken felt something dark. She had always been in Chioma's shadow. Ken had struggled to find love herself, and now she couldn't understand how Chioma, with such a dark secret, could have it all. Bitterness and jealousy grew within her. Why did Chioma, who had been with so many men, get love and happiness while Ken was left with nothing? The jealousy consumed Ken until she devised a plan to ruin Chioma's wedding. On the big day, Chioma and Chima were surrounded by friends and family in a beautifully decorated hall. Everyone was excited to witness their love story. But just as they were about to exchange rings, something shocking happened. The large screen in the hall flickered and a video began to play. It wasn't a sweet montage of Chioma and Chima's journey. Instead, it was a recording of Chioma with different men. The guests gasped in shock as the sounds and images filled the room. Chima's face turned pale. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. Chioma stood frozen as her world came crashing down. The whispers grew louder, and she felt the weight of everyone's judgment. Chima didn't utter a word. He quietly walked out of the hall, leaving Chioma behind. Chioma ran after him, tears streaming down her face, begging him to stop and listen. But it was too late. Chima's heart was too heavy, and his anger was overwhelming. He got into his car and drove away, leaving Chioma standing there, broken and alone. USO quickly came to her aid, gently helping her into a car and driving her home. Chioma cried uncontrollably the entire way, her heart shattered into a million pieces. She couldn't believe her life had unraveled so drastically. Deep down, she always feared her secret would come to light, but never did she imagine it would happen so publicly and so cruelly. The days that followed were a blur of pain and regret. Chioma's heart ached for Chima, but she also realized a harsh truth. She could no longer live with her secret. She had to confront it, no matter how difficult or shameful it felt. But who had betrayed her so ruthlessly? Who exposed her private life for everyone to see? It was none other than Ken, her so-called friend, the person she trusted the most. Ken, blinded by envy and bitterness, had secretly recorded Chioma with other men and played it during her wedding just to destroy her happiness. Chioma had no idea that Ken was the mastermind behind it all. In her naivety, she continued treating Ken as a friend. Meanwhile, Ken secretly harbored her own twisted plan. She wanted to win Chima's affection for herself. If I've succeeded in tearing them apart, Ken thought, why can't I have him? Despite her efforts, Ken failed miserably. Chima wanted nothing to do with her, or with anyone connected to Chioma. Ken eventually realized that her actions had caused irreparable harm, and she was left with nothing but regret. Meanwhile, Chioma took a brave step toward healing. She sought help from a doctor who specialized in her condition, embarking on a journey of therapy and treatment. It was a long and difficult process, but Chioma was determined to fight for her life and regain control. Months later, during one of her better days, Chioma received a letter from Chima. In it, he admitted how deeply hurt he had been, but also expressed his lingering care for her. He acknowledged that her struggles were due to a health condition beyond her control. At the end of the letter, he left a phone number and asked her to call him if she felt ready. Overwhelmed with emotion, Chioma immediately dialed the number. They spoke for hours, their conversation filled with vulnerability, honesty, and hope. That heartfelt exchange led to a reconciliation. Chima was willing to support her through her journey of healing and offered to stand by her every step of the way. Their relationship slowly blossomed once more. With Chima's love and support, Chioma continued her therapy, growing stronger each day. As for Ken, guilt eventually consumed her. She realized the depth of her betrayal and sought forgiveness from Chioma. With her kind and forgiving heart, Chioma accepted Ken's apology, but their friendship could never return to what it once was. In time, Chima and Chioma tied the knot in a beautiful ceremony, surrounded by loved ones. USO, ever the loyal friend, stood proudly as the chief bridesmaid. Their wedding marked the start of a joyful and fulfilling life together. The moral of this story is simple, yet profound. Secrets, no matter how deeply buried, have a way of surfacing. It's always better to confront our struggles and seek help before they spiral out of control. True healing begins with honesty, both with ourselves and with those who care about us. Additionally, this story serves as a reminder to be cautious about the people we trust. Not everyone who calls themselves a friend has your best interests at heart. Sometimes it's better to keep your secrets to yourself and be your own best friend. Thank you so much for listening to this story. My name is Lawrence from Niger Trends TV. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you won't miss more interesting and insightful stories like this. See you in my next story. Bye!